I'm not able to share it with the computer, so I'll have to open it here. Atra sarga visargasya sthanam bhoshanam utaya manvantareshanukata nirodhi muktir ashraya. So that's the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam describing this chapter. So we just finished studying what means sarga, visarga, sthanam, poshanam, udaya, manvantara, ishanukata, nirodhu, mukti, ashraya. We studied each of them, what it means. And all of them are important. It's just different functions. And we study that in Srimad Bhagavatam. And let's continue reading. Parikshit looked mystified. He could not remember Narayan speaking of all these topics to Brahma. Seeing his confusion, Shukadeva explained that the instructions Brahma heard from Narayan and later taught his son were further elucidated by great devotees such as Vidura and Maitreya. Parikshit was still doubtful. Both Narayan and Brahma described the Supreme Lord's glories. Why did devotees like Vidura and Maitreya include other subjects? Shukadeva explained that Vidura and Maitreya knew that these other topics which are mentioned in Vedas often create misunderstandings regarding life's ultimate goal. Okay, let's read that statement again. Vidura and Maitreya knew that these topics which are mentioned in the Vedas often create misunderstandings regarding life's ultimate goal. Let's pause there. It's true. Sometimes we miss the point. We don't get the essence of what Srimad Bhagavatam is trying to tell us, or what scriptures tell us, what Vedas tell us, and we get lost in the details. Get lost in translation. So it's like getting lost without understanding the goal of what the Vedas is trying to say. Vedashcha sarvairaham eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavit eva chaham. Krishna is actually the source of the Vedas. He's the purpose of the Vedas. And, as I said, we are bhavatmakas. We are, the essence of everything is the devotion. Essence of everything is loving Krishna. Sometimes we miss that point. On this context, I want to give an analogy. I was watching a kid, my nephew. He didn't know how to drink from a straw. He would keep blowing it. He was putting so much effort to try to figure out how the straw works. He was just freaking out. He was just like constantly, he's a determined kid. Morning and afternoon and evening, the kid was like, I want to learn how to drink from the straw. I want to learn how to drink from the straw. The mother had some issues, so she didn't have much opportunity, or I don't think any opportunity almost, to feed the child breast milk. So he never learned how to drink, like how to suck from the breast. So he never knew how to suck from the straw either. So he kept blowing it. And he just didn't understand that he was supposed to do the opposite, right? And then we were discussing also with Radha Mataji, my mentor. Yesterday we had a call, and then she was telling she has a granddaughter, and she sees this granddaughter trying to figure out the concept of how the spoon works. She takes the spoon, puts it the other way around, and tries to wave it around the food, trying to catch the food by waving the spoon on the food. Or sometimes she sticks the food inside the food and then tries to suck put the other side of the spoon inside her mouth, trying to make that food go inside somehow. But it's just not working. And then Radha Mataji was telling me how even though the purpose of the spoon and the process is not working, like the kid is not fed, basically. It's struggling, it's trying. But she said it's an important process for that jiva to experience trial and error, try in different ways how to make it work, and it's just not working. So why I'm giving this example analogy is for us to understand that it's not easy to shed all the misunderstandings regarding life's ultimate goal and get on the right track. It is like babies trying to figure out how to eat without spilling everywhere, or without waving the spoon on the food, or without blowing into the straw. So it's a process, it's not a product. Just like babies don't all learn overnight, it's a process. Slowly they figure out this doesn't work, that doesn't work. This is not the way. I'm not going to get fed if I keep doing it this way. And they have to try it. And through that experience, as we read yesterday also, wisdom is not something that's given to us. It's something we discover. So also the life's ultimate goal we discover through all the trial and error, through all those mistakes that we do. What's the Thomas Edison, right? The one who discovered light bulb. He said he failed like about 100 times. And then when he was asked the question, he said, no, I just figured out 100 ways how not to do a bulb. The last one I succeeded, but it's not failure. It's just 100 ways of how not to do. So we need that kind of mentality to progress in spiritual life, that we're learning, we're in the process, we can't get it right. Same with others. We don't judge others, because judging others is very easy. We think that, oh, they're not getting it. But the truth is, we didn't get it either. We were also kids one day trying to stick our hand in the food and figuring out why the food is not going inside my mouth. It's like it's the whole concept of how does this material body work? It took us time to figure out. And similarly, we are like, as we look, when we look at a child, we are patient. We look at ourselves and we say, okay, I'm still in the sarga, visarga. I don't know anything about it, and I'm still figuring it out, and it's fine. It's not, these are not easy subject matters. People in this world are not so smart, apparently. Manda sumanda matayo manda bhagyahi upadrita. I wanted to really bring up that point, that it's not easy to cut off this misunderstandings and understand the life's ultimate goal. Okay, let's continue. Thus, those great sages wanted to clearly distinguish them from that goal, which is to attain Krishna's personal association. He is the 10th subject, the supreme shelter or ashraya, while the other 9 subjects describe other sheltered or ashrita. Turning to the followers of atheistic Sankhya, empirists like Vaisheshikas and logicians are like the Nyaya, Shukadeva said, that which you call the supreme Brahman is actually Krishna. Then addressing the followers of Patanjali, he added, he whom you call the Paramatma or super soul is also Krishna. Tears flooded the king's eyes. Shukadeva's comprehension of Brahma's teaching was profoundly inspiring. Wow. You know, in the pausing here, when we do the Tulasi prayer, Vrindaya Tulsi Devyaya Priyaya Keshavasya Cha Vishnu Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatte Namo Namaha. Vrindaya Tulsi Devyaya Priyaya Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatte Namo Namaha. Sometimes there is a how do you say, difference of opinion. Some say, no, it's supposed to be Vishnu. No, it's supposed to be Krishna. It's supposed to be Vishnu. It's supposed to be Krishna. And then, we lose the point. The point is that he who you call as Vishnu is Krishna. He who you call Krishna is Vishnu. There is no contradiction there. It's the same. Vishnu or Krishna is the same. But sometimes we get lost in details of such things, such as names or no such things. I have faced this personally about this Tulsi thing. Even my little Gaurangi, she other day when she was here for morning program, and I was saying Vishnu Bhakti Pradadevi, and she said, but it's not Vishnu, it's Krishna. It's the same, Gaurangi. No, but so, sometimes it's like we get lost in details, get stuck and trying to figure it out. not trying to stick the spoon in the food. Okay, somebody likes to carry on from here. Parikshit, being thoughtful.
Turning to the followers of the atheistic Sankhya, Empress like, oh, we finished that. Tears flooded. Parikshit again became thoughtful. He knew Brahma did not take birth from a material source. Having come directly from the Lord, Brahma had also personally met Narayana. Wondering um, about this, the king asked, if Krishna is the only Ashraya, then what is the position? Brahma, who is the source of all material bodies. Sikadeva explained that the controlling deities like Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva are manifestations of Krishna's Paramatma feature. He puts living beings in either the position of Adidaiva, a godly controller of the universe like Brahma, or in the position of the controlled living being known as Adiyatma. What distinguishes the controlled living being and the controlled gods is simply their bodies or Adibhuta. Adidaiva, Adiyatma, and Adibhuta are all interdependent. One cannot function without the other two. However, all of them depend on the Supersoul, who has no other shelter. Parikshit knew that if Gautama detected any logical inconsistency in Sukadeva's teaching, he would reject them. Thus he asked, Most Holy One, you said Krishna never touches the material energy. Then again, you tell us that he enters the universe. Since the cosmos is material, how does the Lord remain aloof from matter? Sukadeva replied, the first Purusha, Mahavishnu, lies outside of the material universe on the causal ocean, which is spiritual. When the universe emanates from his body, he enters each of them and manifests the pure spiritual waters of the Kalpotak ocean, sometimes referred to as Nara, on which he lies down in mystic slumber. Why is the Kalpotak ocean called Nara? Because it emanates from Narayana's body. Garbhodakshayani Vishnu is also called Narayana because he lies on his transcendental waters. Looking forward towards the followers of the atheistic Kapila, Sukadev said gravely, know for certain that it is, know for certain that if it were not for the presence of the transcendent Lord, creation could not occur. Matter, karmic, destiny, time, and the living beings inherited natures cannot act by themselves. Turning back to Parikshit, Sukadeva asked if there were anything else he wished to know. Parikshit said, since Vishnu is always transcendental, how do the different material planets, along with their respective rulers, manifest as the limbs of the Lord's gigantic universal body? Sukadeva replied, before creation, Vishnu alone exists, lying in next page.
Just want to pause here. Continue.
Lying in mystic slumber was the Garbhodak ocean. With his powerful energies held within himself, desiring to become many, he manifests from his navel his external energy in the form of a golden lotus. Listen carefully, for I will now explain how the one energy becomes. It's changing. I will now explain how the one energy becomes the three categories I've already described. Adidaiva, the controlling, the controlling gods, Adhyatma, the controlled living beings, and Adibhutam, the material bodies. Sikadeva explained that from ether, within his own transcendental body, the Lord first manifests bodily, mentally, and sensual energies, along with the total cosmic prana of the universal living force. As a king's subjects follow their king. Similarly, the bodily, mental, and sensual energy of the living beings, all individual living beings, follow the cosmic prana. When the total prana acts, they are active. When it stops, they too cease to function. Prana agitates the embryonic universal form and generates hunger and thirst. Thus, the Virat Rupa manifests a mouth with which to eat and drink. Following the mouth, the palate is generated, and then the tongue, along with the taste, it relishes. Varna, the presiding deity of the tongue, also comes into existence. Parikshit said, "You were going to explain how Adi Daiva, Adi Atma, and Adi Bhuta develop. I can see that Varna is a development of Adi Daiva, and the mouth, palate, and tongue are the development of Adi Bhuta. How though, how though has Adi Atma developed at this stage?" Sikadeva explained that Garbhodakshani Vishnu, being purely spiritual, does not experience hunger and thirst, nor does he relish material taste, nor do the transcendental souls. But the Virat Rupa experience material sensations such as hunger and thirst, the Lord generates the conditioned natures of the living beings, which are called Adi Atma. Parikshit asked for more details about the function of Adi Daiva. Sukadev said, "The controlling deities administrate the Lord's rules governing material sense gratification. If a living being violates these rules, then the gods appropriately award his next body. For example, if in the human body a living being forsakes the diet ordained for him and prefers the taste of flesh, then Varuna ensures he gets a mouth and palate suited to meat eating in his next life." Sikadeva continued describing how the Virat Rupa gradually develops. One after another, the mouth, the ears, eyes, nostrils, legs, hands, skin, genital, anus, navel, mind, abdomen, intestines, life breath, blood, fat, marrow, and bone are generated. As each of these bodily parts manifest, so do the corresponding controlling gods along with their planets. Only after the Virat Rupa manifests a sense, organ, or function can the individual living entities possess that feature. The more Parikshit learned, the clearer it became that we should use our senses in Krishna's service to feel peaceful and happy, since he is the supreme controller of the souls, the gods, the physical universe. Everyone should act in accord with his will. When we forget this, we become subject to the threefold miseries of material existence. Sukadeva explained further about the constitution of the gross material body, which is composed of a physical form and life air. The physical form has 7 layers, a thin cover. Hare Krishna. Next page, please.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I kept talking. Sorry.
Oh,
I
sorry,
was
I was talking.
saying,
Yes,
no,
sorry.
no. So here, Taruni, yesterday you were asking about this question, and here is the answer to that question. You asked about this point here. How is it that liberated souls are liberated even with the same body? To shift. So this question is answered here. When we forget this, we become subject to the threefold miseries of material existence. And then the point also about what we discussed yesterday, like the demigods, they remember our subtle investment, subtle desires that we develop and where we are absorbed, and then they take notice of it and they keep that in our subconscious mind. And they create a body for us based on how we have lived previous life. Say it's not only the senses, it's not only the tongue which gets taste of meat or whatever, that we get that kind of body, but also the mind. If the mind gets addicted to entertainment, my mind gets addicted to comfort, whatever it is that the mind invests into, the next lifetime we have a mind which reflects those decisions that we made, those options, those investments, those samskaras. That's why it's very important to give children the right samskara so that they have the right thing to cling to, because already from there, every soul is carrying baggage from previous life. The other day I saw this kid, European kid, Italian kid, so clearly was a Brahmana in the previous life. And you can see the samskaras are so clean, and this kid is so pure. It looks like a effulgence coming out of this kid, and very, very sharp. The mind is so controlled. For a small kid, he can sit through the whole Bhagavatam class, and with rapt attention, he can hardly understand English. But there is a samskara in that soul, and it's not by joke, because in the previous life, that soul chose to do certain things. And so we see one lifetime and we judge, this person is like that person is like that. But Krishna sees us over lifetimes, or his job is over lifetimes. Is not just one lifetime. He's looking at, Giriraj Maharaj said that Krishna's work on us is over lifetimes, like a screen. If you see, like a movie episodes or something. This episode, like Bharat Maharaj is a good example. We may see him stuck in a deer body. That's only one episode, but then there is also the previous chapter, and then there is the next chapter. Similarly, we also have what we have. We have the baggage from previous samskaras. We have baggage of what we've been cultivating in our mind. Have we been cultivating fear? Have we been cultivating faith? Are we cultivating a mood of service? Are we cultivating a mood of enjoyment? All these things will be given back to us, where we invest what we have, what we sow, we will harvest that. So now we are in the present. When we nurture those things that are favorable and edit out what is not favorable, then the future we create is better. As I often say, astrology works because there is free will. So with that free will, we can reshape, remodel, restructure, innovate our mind, renovate our tastes, renovate our sense of priorities and identity. Thank God that we have that opportunity to use this physical components and senses to what do you call it? To improve it, to update it, to Krishnaize it. Any comments on that?
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Yeah. So how much it's dependent on our free will, our desires. And it's just so beautiful how everything is taken note of. And in fact, today I was just hearing like how we are always thinking like how Indra is like, what do you say? So many times he's mentioned in the Bhagavatam. And then we just, as devotees, we say like, oh, demigods, we're not supposed to like, what do you say, go to them, and then only towards Krishna. So in that sense, we're always thinking Indra, and we're seeing him in a bad light, but actually he's also a pure devotee. And then that Gautama and Ahalya, right, that episode that happens, he has the power to know the subtle desires or like the psychic movements or of the mind of these living entities. And that Gautama Muni, he had this desire to become the next Indra. So he detected this desire, and in Ahalya, he detected that she had some lust. I mean, whatever, tinge of lust. And then he was thinking, Gautama Muni is a rishi, and there are thousands of people who are following him. So I want him to fall down so that people will stop following him because he's desiring like this. And she's also having this, whatever, some kind of small issue. So I'll try to make them fall down. So that was a motivation for him to like, make that particular episode happen. So I was thinking like, wow, if a demigod has this power to like know the psychic movements or like, the desires, and then he's reciprocating, just imagine. But then what I've also heard is for devotees, he's not like so, what do you say? Everybody like cooperates, all the demigods and all the devatas, everybody cooperates, especially when we are in this Kali Yuga, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, they know he is the Yuga avatar. So any person who's in this movement, they're all blessings, and they're very much cheering us and showering their blessings. So this is what I heard. Wanted to share.
Beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Krishna is that wise father. If the kid says, I want to put my hand in the fire, I want to put my hand in the fire, Krishna is not going to allow us to do it. At the point he stops us and says, no, my dear child, sorry, I'm not going to let you do that. I care too much for you to let you do that. We love you. I love you too much. I love you so much
Right.
to not let you do that. So
And
that's
you know
Krishna.
what?
No?
One more thing that I remember when you're saying that is this is only for the devotee, not for non-devotees. For non-devotees, he's like the witness, and for the devotees, right? In Nectar Devotion, remember that statement? It says once a person starts devotional service, they are
Yes.
forcefully dragged towards success or the completion, right? So that's just so beautiful, correct? So much.
I mean, it depends on our desire. Not all, like, what is it? It depends on defined devotee, right? If devotee just means tilak and kantimala and taking initiation, yeah, again, yeah, yathamam prapadyante. Depending on our willingness to let Krishna in, he will interfere. Remember when Pandavas were in the dice game, Yudhishthir was sitting there and he didn't call Krishna. And when Uddhava asks him in the 11th canto, why you didn't go? Why you didn't go? You're supposed to be Apat Bandhava, and they are your friends. They're not even, somebody else. They are your devotees, your friends. You're supposed to go and protect them. And then Krishna says, I was waiting at the door that they'll call me. And then he says, Yudhishthira, he was playing again and again, gambling away, and he didn't call me. I was waiting at the door. And then Bhima and Arjuna were lost, and they were standing there. Instead of calling me, they were complaining about Duryodhana. They kept saying, oh, Duryodhana did that and this, and they didn't call me, and I was waiting at the door. So he explains to Uddhava that, I'm saying this is devotees, right? We are saying Krishna will interfere if it's a devotee, but he explains to Uddhava that even there in interference, there are levels depending on do we call Krishna or not, because he values our free will even there. I also often think why does Krishna even let me have my free will sometimes? Why he just doesn't come and save me like this little baby who's trying to roll over and go into the dirt? Why he doesn't prevent me? I'm often thinking like this, right? Sometimes like I feel disgusted with my free will because of that rebellious nature. But Krishna loves us so much, like you with Gaura, right? You give him a sense of freedom, even though he may not be acting ideal. At the same time, you love him too much to let him do certain things which you know that is very bad. So there is
Yeah,
that balance. There is that balance. So Krishna is not, even with a devotee, like Prabhupada, let's say, okay? Even with the devotee, he is very careful to notice the desire of the devotee, to notice the willingness, to notice that he is very, very personal. It's not like a machine thing that once you become a devotee, you have to go through difficulties. It depends on our willingness to experience a certain kind of rasa, certain kind of level of material, level of willingness to relinquish material motives. Very much depends on that. If we still have that Ishvara Bhava, I will do it, Nanu Nannadu, mine, me, Yudhishthira, there are many explanations why Yudhishthira didn't call Krishna, right? He was thinking why to bother him, this, that. But Krishna says that I was waiting at the door. And only Draupadi finally calls him. Pandavas don't call him. And he rushes when Draupadi calls. So, like that, he's waiting for us. He's waiting at the door. Sometimes we just have to tell him, please come in. That's why yesterday, Taruni, when you were speaking about prayers and all, I was so impressed because that's it. That's what we need to keep doing. Please, Krishna, come in. Please, Krishna, don't wait outside. Please come in. I'm letting you in. So it's again that mood of come, Krishna, please come in. Please take over. Please. And that's why we keep saying again and again and again, may Krishna's will and not mine be done. And as long, sometimes when I'm saying it, I don't really mean it. In my mind, I'm still rebelling, thinking, yeah, Krishna's will only. What I want is only Krishna's will. Their mind is already scheming and strategizing, right? But until I really mean it, I have to keep saying it. Fake it until we make it. We may not mean it. May Krishna's will, not mine, be done. We may not mean it, but we still say it. We practice it. We practice it. It's not easy to do Krishna's will sometimes.
And the free will we have it is because
Mm,
what I've heard is see, love is not forced. If you're taken away the ability to have for us to have the free will, first and foremost, we are part of him, right? Mama Vamsu Jiva Loke. We are
mm,
part and parcel of him. He also has free will, so that's why we have. But that free will is also there because he wants us to freely love him. It's not like he's gonna put a gun and say, "Hey, come on, say I love you." Not like that. He wants us by our own heart and free will to say to him, "Yes, Krishna, we really love you," like that. So that's why he's given us that. And it's so nice, right? Like, say, even my child, like, one flower, he'll, get it for me, and then he'll say, "Mama, this for you." I feel so happy. So many things I do, but then one small thing he does out of his own free will, it
mm.
touches the heart like that. So,
Yeah, beautiful point. I just want to add to this amazing point that it's also interference, meaning like in Yudhishthir's case, he didn't want to bother Krishna. Why should I get Krishna involved in this? Let me do it. Just let me handle it like that. But there is nothing such for Krishna, something big, something small. There's nothing as bothering him, Gaura, if he's going through some tough time, it's not that you don't want him to disturb you, right? You would like him to tell you when he's in difficulty so that you can help. It's not that you expect him to figure it out on his own, but at the same time, when he wants to figure it out on his own, you give him the freedom. Similarly, Krishna is the same. Like if we want to figure it out on our own and cause the 13 years exile because of that moment of not letting Krishna in, not calling Krishna. I mean, you should study that 11th canto. It's amazing. Because Uddhava gets really restless and he becomes really like, how you could do this to Pandavas? I mean, like, they're your friends. Why you didn't go? Why? You're supposed to be up at Bandhava and here you're acting so bad. You're so selfish. Uddhava is perplexed. Really, really perplexed. So sometimes we feel that way, why Krishna is not interfering? Because deep inside, we don't have that willingness to let Krishna in. Deep inside, there's still that motive to lord it over the material nature, to take control, to do self-will. Because we're proud. We're proud about our, whatever, planetary strengths, I would say, as an astrologer. And I'm seeing that actually. I'm seeing that in my clients, that those who have strong planetary influences, like strong sun or something, they have a very strong sense of self, individuality, ego. Their desires are very strong, and it's very difficult for them to accept that, oh, I want to hand this over to Krishna, let Krishna's will be. When you have very good positive planetary placements, it does become harder to surrender. It does become harder. So pain, pain is actually something that can help us. Like the bad planets, so-called bad planetary placements, makes us realize our powerlessness more. And
right,
stronger
right,
karma,
so
big
true.
better karma, like what Kunti says, right? Janmaishwarya Shruta Shribir, all these things are good karma. So one cannot approach the Lord. And this is exactly the astrological realization I'm having. When somebody has a great birth and great karma and great planets and great sun and great Jupiter, and so they're so like conditioned to their sattva condition, a small thing such as, oh, I want to travel or something becomes so important for them, and they're suffering for that. So my realization is, even if somebody has really good karma, they're dissatisfied. They're dissatisfied. But the risk is, although they're dissatisfied, it's harder to go to Krishna. But when somebody has negative karma, they're not only dissatisfied, they're not only hurting, they're not only powerless, but there is a chance of them realizing, like, I'm so powerless. And then, that state of desperateness, like Draupadi, we call out to Krishna. If, of course, if we have invested in our good time in the in the right investment scheme, if we have put our
So
thought.
true, my God. So true. I feel like you're just like, what do you say? Like, it's just been like my story. I feel like my life story. In those utter, what do you say, utter despair situations. What else can I do? Just lift my hand up and say, surrender, my Lord. You take over. But if that situation had not happened, right? But wasn't a situation like that, then I don't know if I could have feelingly called out during those intense
No,
moments. When I look
no,
back.
no, we can't. I've seen, some friends I have, they had like perfect upbringing, everything's so nice. They got married to the one they wanted. They had really nice children. They have a support system. Everything was so like normal. Very good karma people, right? Very good karma. They are generous. They do charity, and then they're very religious and everything. But it's very, very, very difficult for them to get to that point of powerlessness and that helplessness, because they've always had help, they've always had support, they've always had that acceptance. So it becomes really like, I've seen those kind of people, they do religious things, but the mood is not with desperation. The mood is more like, yeah, these are things that help me to be nicely situated. I'm happy and my kids are happy and everything is happy. And there is a sattva guna in good karma, is also some sort of sattva guna, but it can stagnate us in spiritual advancement. And it's not by chance that Kunti Devi says,
Yeah.
calamities happen again and again, right? She's not
Mm.
saying that by chance. She's saying that out of experience, that when the calamities happen, you come, Krishna, and we'll think of you, we'll remember you. So she figured out the purpose. Like in this thing, it says the purpose of the Vedic. What is that? Mm, mm.
To establish our relationship with Krishna.
Right. So, so that's the purpose. Ashraya, Nirodho Muktir Ashraya. That Ashraya is the point. And so Kunti Devi figured out the key, the secret to that Ashraya is, when do we want shelter? When I am dripping, my clothes are wet, and I'm wet from rain, and it's a storm, and I have no shelter. Everything is going haywire. It's so chaotic. I have no other shelter. And anywhere I'm trying to take shelter, the tree I take shelter gets cut off and the wind takes it away. Another little place I'm trying to take shelter, the roof gets flown off. And then I say, oh my God, Krishna, please give me shelter. I am dying here. I'm dying and I'm drowning in this ocean of material existence. Please give me shelter. Okay, that's when we get shelter, right? Because if I don't realize I need shelter, and I feel sheltered by my parents, by my education, by my job, by everything that my good karma has given me, where's the need for looking for shelter? Where's the need?
Yeah.
Theoretically, there will be a need, there will be a understanding. Krishna is our real shelter. Oh yes, thank you so much, Krishna, you gave me everything. Very nice, very, very nice, very sweet, kuchi kuchi ku, very nice. But then without the difficulty, without the pain, we don't come to that point. We don't get on our knees and pray. There's this lecture by, I really love that lecture. There's a lecture by Radhanath Swami about the 12 steps, like the addiction thing. And he recommends the 12 steps. Like he's speaking to a bunch of alcoholic recovery people. And he says, he gives a whole Draupadi example in that lecture. I can send it to anybody who wants. Write me, I'll send you that lecture. It's on Spotify. So he really like gives such a amazing foundational introduction. Speaking of, he tells these people, look, guys, you got only two options. You either you keep going down, degrade, and you just completely lose your everything, and you'll just be finished. Like addiction will just devour you. There is, and he says, for you guys, for the addicts, there is nothing in between anymore. You're gonna either just be finished, destroyed, degrade, or you can completely let go and let God and take shelter of Krishna, just like Draupadi did in the helpless and hopeless condition. She realized there's no shelter anywhere else. Nobody else could fix it. Nobody else can solution this for me. It was only Krishna, and that's it. And complete faith in the Lord, and that can be your transformation. And you can either soar, like he gives the example of Draupadi. You can soar in devotion and faith and be saved, and not just saved but thrive, or you die. There's nothing in between, he says. And I felt I related to that because I also have addictions of overthinking and over dependence and stuff like that. And I could see that, oh my God, there's either death or taking that shelter and making it. That's it. There's nothing in between. For those who have very good karma, there's something in between. But he says the fortune of being in that condition, that wow, you can just skip all that good karma stuff, which is of this world, and go to ashraya. No, just skip the whole other subjects and go to the essence of take shelter, because you know what? You're shelterless. So I really like that lecture.
Very beautiful. So beautiful. So relatable.
Okay, I think we will end here. I think we're supposed to continue from, yeah, Shukadeva continued describing how Virat, no, did we finish that?
The thin layer, we just started that paragraph.
Okay.
Bhakti is the elevator method. I'm just thinking when he says like there's nothing between, you're just skipping over everything. Like Bhakti is the elevator, right? Everything else is like the ladder thing. You're climbing to get that good thing. And Bhakti will just take you up there like that.
True. And that's why it says for Bhakti, first of all, Janmaishwarya, Shrutta, Shribir, to have good birth and have wealth and have education and have beauty, all these things can only be obstacle, first of all. Or dependence on those things can be obstacle. And then the other thing, is it's not that we have to be in a even sadhana wise or external activities and rituals are not even an indicator of that. It's just all dependent on bhakti, and that can come in 1 minute. The bhava can come in 1 minute. It's not based on how many years we have chanted. Samskaras can help, but samskaras alone can only sometimes put us in sattva, and we become satisfied there. And this again, desperation may not come. Because of samskaras, we are kind of protected by sattva guna, but we're supposed to go beyond the modes. That's why coming to sattva is not our goal. It's not our goal. Yeah, I'll send Radhana Swami class. So thank you very much. Tomorrow morning, after the Bhagavatam and all that, will be my grandmother's talk. She'll be coming and she'll describe about Lord Shiva. So I'll send out a.
I'm really looking forward to seeing your grandmother.
Yeah, and those of you who speak Kannada, can ask her questions in Kannada. She'll be so happy.
Sure.
She speaks Hindi also, by the way. Hindi, Kannada. English she understands, but doesn't speak. Sanskrit she also knows. So we will ask her some nice questions to tell us some stories. And we can ask, she'll sing and tell a story, but then we can ask her any questions, like anything. How does she have such, ask her about Manobala, Atmabala. She loves that point. How to get mental strength, how to get strength of the, she's really good. Even her situation, so much pain, and that's why she really took shelter.
What time it will be?
So Indian time will be 7:30 a.m.
Okay.
Indian time.
Okay.
And that is what time, Taruni, in America would be 7? Is it 7 p.m.?
Right now it's 8:20 p.m. So I think we'll finish the Bhagavatam like around 8 p.m. right? Usually it's like a half-hour class, a 40 minutes class. So it'll be like after that.
All right, ladies, thank you very much. See you tomorrow morning for the Bhagavatam and also with my grandmother's talk.
I think mostly 8:15 p.m.
Okay. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Thank you.